Okay, update for crypto. So we had a bull trap similar to the regular markets or the traditional markets, if you want to call it that. We made a new daily high on on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we just proceeded to fail. So here is the weekly chart. This is a weekly chart of Bitcoin, topped out on week 20. We're on now week 30. Last ICL ended on week 41. The one before that, week 26. So we could have we're roughly in the timing band, realistically. Same thing for Ether, topped out week 20. So we've now been declining for about 10 weeks. This is week 30. This is obviously not looking good. Very solid red. Looks like it wants to make new lows. Last weekly cycle for Ether was 39, and the one before that was 28. So very similar to Bitcoin, but not exactly aligned. So like we're obviously sort of right in between that 30 and 40 essentially. That said, if you zero in on the daily cycle, you can see that we are actually on day 47. So this is Ethereum, it's the same for Bitcoin. And this is what happened today. We made a new daily high above 3174 approximately. So we were this candle was solid green at one point this today, and it looked like this. And then we just completely failed. Now we haven't made a low below here, but now it's almost a virtual certainty that we will. So that's 3047 approximately. And again, it looks like we're now like headed back for a retest of this level at 2926, and maybe eventually we land on 2650. These cycles are usually around 60 days. So this being day 47, this looked super bullish, and it was, but you know that we're still potentially a little bit early in the cycle, and so that causes you maybe to be a little bit more cautious, which is why I like cycles. I think of them as giving you a sense of the season, whereas the price action gives you a sense of like what the weather is right now with a thermometer, which is incredibly helpful. But if you then know the season that you're in kind of conflicts, then you know that you know to expect a potential change. Like if I use a thermometer and see that it is relatively cold, but I know it's the middle of summer, I might expect that it's going to get warmer later in the day. And so that's how I kind of think about cycles. And it does look like we're going to make fresh lows, even though things look super bullish. And that would make sense. We maybe have another 13, 14 days given where we are in the cycle. And again, same thing for Bitcoin if you look at the daily chart. And this is really kind of across the whole crypto space. You had this what looked really promising, right? Like we were all the way up here, making new highs, taking out all these highs, and then we've just failed. Now, Bitcoin did already make a new low below yesterday's low, and it's now rebounded a little bit, but at this point, this looks to be a bear flag, like this whole formation. And if you think about that, like this down leg, this bear flag gives you another down leg, maybe below the 37,000 that I have marked here. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. But not looking great in crypto land right now. But again, we still have potentially 13, 14 days left in the daily cycle. We know where we are in the weekly. So you imagine the daily cycle bottoms out in a couple weeks. So we maybe get a low on week 31, 32, which is how you want to kind of think about the way the cycles sort of work within each other, how the daily cycle ladders up to the weekly, etc. And finally, if we just look at the monthly really quickly, the picture is just not looking good. We're below that swing high. The good thing is we have very clear levels. When February opens, we'll know, like, are we below another swing high? Like, are we going to be below the low from January? Same thing for Bitcoin. We're just sitting below that swing low for both, and potentially sitting at a bigger top. But we will know we're not at a bigger top when we start to make new highs above those swing lows and show evidence on lower time frames that the trend is changing from lower to higher. And so we will have plenty of sort of warning. That's the exciting part.